Beautiful people, how are ya? How y'all doing? How you doing? Like Wendy would say, how's the work week been like? Thank God it's Friday. If you've been in Lagos, you know that Lagos has been raining non-stop. Hey, rains. In fact, from May, it has been heavy rains. The cold, the flooding is out of this world. It's out of this world. See, this is my turtleneck. In fact, it's been on overtime duty because the rain will rain and rain and rain and rain and rain. Yesterday, it rained for 13, 14 hours from dawn till dusk. There was even a building even collapsed and some people lost their lives. May their souls rest in perfect peace. And about 8 people died and many others were injured. That's the extent of the rain that's going on. It's been, very, and is somehow now, because all houses are tiled. These Italian marbles they are very cold to the feet. Even when you wear stockings, you wear socks and all that, puffy ones, woolly ones, it will still penetrate. You still feel the cold from the Italian marble tile. Okay. And then the POP, someone was telling me that, POP absorbs a lot of cold. It's like a cold cement that it absorbs cold, so it diffuses the coldness into you. So, man, it's been a cold thing. But me personally, I thank God for it, because for the rains. And Nigeria's climate is now becoming what it used to be, because we all knew back then that from inception, from the beginning of time, May, June rain, especially June, is always the heaviest time for rainfall. And how rain fall during June determines the kind of harvest that farmers are going to have. So it means that we're going to have a lot of food in Nigeria now. The yam, the cassava, the maize, the pepper, the tomatoes, the potatoes. We are going to have a bumper harvest, unlike previous years. That in Nigeria, previously, June, May, all those rainy seasons, you just be cold. You just have heavy cold, as if it's springtime. Cold, no, not winter, cold springtime in the Western world. That's the kind of windy weather we used to have. No rain. Farmers used to complain that all their produces will get bad, they will get burnt, they will not be able to, they don't germinate from the ground, because when there's no water, they get burnt. Cassava, yam, maize, everything just get destroyed. But now, we are, at least rest assured that there's going to be a bumper harvest, because there's good rainfall this June. So by August, September, harvest period, we have bumper food in our van, and hopefully in the market, and hopefully at lower costs. So see me now and my turtleneck. We are like 5 and 6 now, because in the old house I don't have a cardigan, I don't have a sweater. So this is what is standing in the gap for that. So guys, it's a red pillow talk tonight. And you know what that means? It's red pillow talk time. And when it's red pillow talk time, something that is serious is in the offing. Extremely serious. And what is that? It's Yele that got me off on this. Yele Sowore. Prominent activist and publisher. Okay. Yele made some comment or a post about the president of the country, like last year, I think. Right, last year. So he was arrested and arraigned before the courts. When I saw that it was secret police that arrested Yele, I said, oh, here we go again. Because in any crime, in any society, the secret police are always like principalities and powers. They are deadlier than any other one. Having any problem with police is even, very, 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 very problematic. But now with secret police, That's quite on the other side of it. You know what I mean? So DSS was the one that arraigned Yele again over calling the president a criminal. Okay. Initially, was going to court. He met after his arrest. It was released on bail. So after his release on bail, he was coming to court each time his case came up and all that. He was always present in court. Although I don't know why, because Yele didn't have to be in court. You have your legal counsel, you have your lawyers. You didn't have to be in court. More so when you are like, I mean, a thorn in the flesh of government, and you've been in their radar for a long time, and you know the many shenanigans they've tried to do with you while in court. There was a time they tried to like abduct you right there. When the court judge set him free, they abducted him twice, one inside the court itself, one in the premises. So why would you need to go there? I mean, if they said you shouldn't travel, that's okay. But why did you need to come to the court all the time? I had my reservations about that. But Yele being Yele, if you know Yele, you won't be surprised. Yele being Yele, that's him. That's him. And on this regular talk, before we go way too deep, I want to tell you some backstories about Yele that I don't think people know, and we will have to get and understand about Yele because I heard so many stories about him. Yele is someone I personally love him. I personally laud him. I personally believe in things he does. Not all of them. Not all of them. That's a caveat. But in his advocacy, I believe in his advocacy. His politics, I don't like his politics. Yeah, I'll come to that later. See, Yele is actually, many people don't know that Yele is actually not a Yoruba. No. Yele bears or more Yele Sowore, but Yele is actually an Ijaw. Yele is an Ijaw guy from Eseodo in Ondo State. And anyone who knows Eseodo will know that they are predominantly Ijaw. Yele is Ijaw. He's an Ijaw man. And that's why you see that Ijawness, quote and unquote, in Yele. Because if you know Ijaw, they are very militant. Irrepressible, indomitable. They are the natural troublemakers, natural crusaders. They no go green. It's in their blood. When they are talking, you think they are fighting. My job is, I get it. I understand. Just chill. To them, cool down. Say, I'm just talking to you. I say, I know. But it's that muzzle with their bone, with that fiery, and she's just gisting. She is just gisting. Body, joy, blood is like hot-blooded blood. They don't take no for an answer. They are stubborn to the core. Is on. If you are watching me, guys, is on. Hey, forget it. He's from Eseodo in Ondo State. It's an Ijaw. Okay. Now, I first came across Yele in UNILAG. Okay. He became, UNILAG back then, if you know Akokites. Oh my goodness. By the time Akokites spent 1.5 months in school for his semester, you just hear one day in broad daylight. Everybody will run with their tail between their legs. That's gunshots. In broad daylight on campus. That's what? Cultism. University of Lagos back then was the hotbed of cultism. Late 80s, 90s, in the 90s. There are areas that no akokite. You dare not go there. Who born you if you know if you know did that setting, like Lagoon Waterfront. You know, when you're passing by Tominam, you see that's like that Lagoon Waterfront. Nobody. Morning, noon, evening, afternoon, talkers of night. There goes there. It was tough. The pirate confraternity was in the, you know, Buccaneers split from pirates, and there was this battle of supremacy. There was every blood was flowing every time on campus. When they will eat this, one will eat the other will retaliate. It got so bad that the leadership, Professor Wale Soyinka and all that, pirates wasn't really violent towards the others, but the others were like, they wanted to like eradicate pirates out of campus because pirates was just too dominant. So it got to a point that Professor Wale Soyinka and the original eight that founded pirate confraternity pulled out pirate confraternity from the campuses. Till today, you can't find parents confraternity on campus. You can be outside having their meetings or anything, but they pull that pirates confraternity from Nigerian campuses. But the us as led stables, the violence was already in out there. So from there, it became from pocket, it became bird, from bird became Aye, from Aye has been there all along. All the battle for supremacy was crazy. It was crazy. It was a tough time. I don't know how many years people they take go school that time because ideally you should admit 4 years you know when you graduate, but not then. You just know when you enter school. When you are graduating, you do know. It was that tough. It was that terrible. Akọka residents too, they are always sleeping with one eyes open. Because in any time, those university in my period, they will start serious gunshot. So it was a thing. It was a thing of concern. Many people were like weary of sending their kids to that school, even. As laudable, as lofty as the institution is, many people started looking elsewhere, you know, where they can send their kids and all that. Because the school was just too hard. It was too tough. And nobody wants to send his or her child to a school where he or she will be returned in a body bag to the parents. So that was the chaotic, that was the violence, that was the blow thing in on campus when Yele arrived to study geography in UNILAG. Like play like joke, Yele came out of contest for SUG, that Student Union Government President. So many people also came out that time, but Yele campaigned on the basis of it's going to eradicate secret cultism on campus. How can that be? People were always laughing at him. Yele was very slim. He wasn't. Well, he's now bulky, with age and with money and all that. But then he was slim, tiny like this, but very vocal. Extremely vocal. He was campaigning, was going everywhere. He was campaigning to all the halls, going everywhere, and saying with every boldness in him that he was going to eradicate secret cultism in Unilag. People were laughing at him at first. This guy, people I say this one, he don't create from where they come from. Everybody thought that this man is out of it. He said that his eye on Kai Kai or his eye on something else that we can name. But the guy was flat out serious. So after some time, people started taking him seriously. And he started saying, he's going to do it. Do you have the will to do it? Nobody dares to do that. They will just buy you. You don't know where you are. You this boy. The guy was the same. In fact, the way he talks now, he has mellowed. He still, the activism is now in him, in his strategy, in how he moves. He's not as the vocal, the way he talks and all that anymore. He's not talking like a gentleman in his advocacy, even though he's still a dogged fighter. But then, Iyele is talking. No need to put a bull on. Yele will be shouting, screaming, all those and that. Get them Nigeria, 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 I will do this, I will do that, according to this scholar, according to that writer, according to that critical. You'll be quoting so many, according to Aristotle, according to Plato. Fiery, shouting. You hear his voice almost from that gate. So it sounded so convincing. So surprisingly, people said, okay, let's give him a trial. So they voted for Yele. Yele become the student president. That let's see how he's gonna do it. People didn't believe he was going to do it. There's no way he can do that. But people students voted for him because they saw that it was sound. He's sound, he's bold, he's courageous, he can marshal people, he had the leadership qualities, he could talk, he could rally the crowd. So even if he didn't do what he said he was going to do, just for this a good face for the school as at that time, that he's got it. How to talk, how to be bold and articulate his points in front of people and move them along. So okay, if he doesn't do it, at least doesn't just be there and be a good representation of the people. I mean, representative of the people. Me, I no bagam. So that's how I became SUG president. My dear, my beautiful people. That's when I know some people day. Yele lived true to his word. Do you know what he used to do? Early in the morning, very early in the morning, in the hostel, students will just wake up to the shout of one Yele screaming. Bang, 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 bang. Maremi hostel, everybody wake up, wake up, wake up. Yele will start shouting, shouting. You know why he's here today? He's told you he's going to eradicate cultism in this school. Every one of you, you know who the cultists are in your class, in your halls, in the residences. Push them out now, 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 now. Yele will start. And of course, all of us now, that time, you all knew who they setting. But the fear, the dread, you can't, when you meet them on the way, you have to look down and run away, But people know who they setting that time. Push them out! Push them out! Yele will rally people, shout. And if people are still like afraid, Yele is the one that you, I know you, I know you, I know, I know. He will pull the person out. He will pull the person out and start telling people that he should drag all the cultists in their halls of residences out. And like joke, that's how it started. On each day like that, Yele will they will bring all those guys out. Yele will force them, he will abuse them, he will yap them seriously. He will so humiliate them seriously. They sent you to school. Where are you from? Which state are you from? You mean your parents are in River State? What do they do? Farmer, fisherman. So they are struggling to send you to school all the way from River State to come here. And they are raising money from contributions everywhere. And you are doing cultism. Are you not ashamed? Are you not crazy? Are you not stupid? Yele will humiliate the person very well. And then will not force them to recant. Once they come out like that, after humiliating them, beating them, embarrassing them very well, now force them that they must recant. So they were recanting, they were renouncing cultism. It was a thing. It was a thing. That was a movement that Yele started in UNILAG. It was like the man was like an invincible person because people were like, well, is this guy real? Does he have bulletproof or does he have something that gives him this kind of amazing boldness and courage? These are people that, all those guys then, they have so many ammunitions, arms in their bag, in the hostel with them all the time. And these guys exposing them in real time, forcing them to renounce cultism, stop. And these guys were renouncing cultism. Many were saying, he will ask them, who asked you to join? He will ask you who forced you to join. I didn't want to join. This person led me to it. Who is the person? He will force the person to name the person that forced him or her into. Because there were female ones too at that time, Jays and all that. People know what I'm talking about. If you were in school in that era. The person that he will force it, name the person. So when they will go for that person next. That you're the one that led this person that forced him or her to enter this particular cult, blah, 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 blah. So that was how the ripple effect was going till Yele virtually rid UNILAG of secret cultism. I can boldly tell you, anyone around that time, the late 80s, mid 90s, will tell you that it was because of Yele's effort. Yele Sow's efforts as SUG president. Read University of Lagos of Cultism. Till today, the peace. Like now, everybody's working, they're doing all this. There's nothing like secret cultism again in UNILAG. It's all because of what Yele did. Caught me anyway. So that was what Yele started doing. And when they saw that many of these guys left school, many of them recanted, many of them left the group, the group became virtually ineffective. Okay? After months of doing that, after months of data, when the separate call lost their members, they lost all the members. They lost all them because it was not fashionable again to become be every day was doing that. It was getting even during school hours. It's moved from hostels to school hours. Break time, all those break times, time for sports and all that. Yearly will start with his boys. So guys were just living the cult like normal business. Leaving them, abandoning cultism, embracing peaceful life, becoming good citizens, good students. Months passed. Yele is a guy that, like most of us that time, we, we only knew when we got into school. Didn't know when we were going to graduate. Because I think Yele was expelled twice. On top of that was the cultism thing. They were always closing school all the time because of cultism. And then again, military dictatorships. The dictatorship was oh my goodness. It was something else. Dictatorship, yeah, rather. It was something else. So school was 4 years, normally normal 4 years life, 7 years, 8 years in school to graduate. Yeah, this case was tough because it was expelled twice and it was expelled for recalled again, expelled again, recalled again. So it spent like 7, 8 years in school. It was undeterred. Didn't care. There was no one that Yele could not confront. Ah, even VC, there's no one Yele will not. He will come before you and confront you, pointing his fingers like this at you. No one. Everybody used to think that this boy is not another. It must be a spirit. This guy must be a spirit. Because I just told you the mood of the nation then, it was a military dictatorship. Cultism was everywhere, killing, maiming. It was a bloodbath, blood boy all the time. And you see this guy behaving like as if he had I don't know how to explain it. As me, like he has superpowers and is immune to all those. So that was how he became very popular. Everybody loved him. Ah, yale, 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 yale. He was reading geography. I don't know which time he get to even study the geography and planning himself. Because it was always in that one activism. He was not even limiting it to UNILAG. He was going to other campuses. Yele was that guy. Yele was that guy. He was going to other campuses too. Not caring whether he lives or he buy. That is Yele Sowore as a young undergraduate. Look at how many miles away from SLDO. He was born into a polygamous home. There are 16 children. 16 children, football team and reserve and coach. He was a guy that was he taught himself how to drive motorcycle. A job boy. He would wake up very early in the morning to go to the stream to go and catch fish. The fish that his family will eat that morning before going to school or going to anywhere they're going. That's the kind of mentality he has. Anyway, in Unilag, no father, no mother, no relatives. Look at the kind of trouble Ellie was the rabble rouser getting into, all for good reasons, for great reasons. But with that background, you would think that he would like shiver and who am I? You all the way from it was all of those states then it wasn't even split into two. Who am I all the way from Ondo before I come to Lagos? Nobody, no money, no nothing. I got to Lagos, one shirt, one trouser. Yet that's the guy you find turning the entire University of Lagos upside down for good, though. So after some time, it didn't reckon with what the guys, the cultists would do, the top brass. We just woke up one day to say, Wale has been kidnapped. Wale has been kidnapped. Wale has been, Yele has been kidnapped. Oh, the guys just drove into school. Boom. They are cultists from outside campus. They just came to school. They grabbed Wale in broad daylight, bundled him into a car and drove off. The whole campus was tensed. Yele, they've buying Wale, they've buying Wale, there's no way they will listen, they will let him go. Yele, oh, people were crying. People were mourning. People were like out of it. Yele, we said it to these people. How can we fight? How can we the camp? For like 3, 4 days, nobody knew. It wasn't the era of GSM or social media or anything. Nobody knew where Yele was. There was no news, no information, no nothing. And for that 3, 4 days, the whole place was tensed. Students were crying, weeping openly, broken hearted. Then all of a sudden, bam! Yale just appeared on campus again. Bim! People were, yeah, Yale is back, Yale is back, Yale. Jubilation. Jubilation. Shout. They carried him. Everybody was happy, tears of joy. Yele, where you go? Yele did not say anything. Up till tomorrow, I don't know whether Yele, there will come a time when he would tell people who took him that day and where they took him to. Where were you? Where did they take you to? What happened to you? Blah, blah, blah. Yele did not say a word. People could see that it wasn't the vocal, person. It was a bit subdued. What happened? This is he didn't say. Later on, we got to know what happened. The guys that took Wally, that grabbed him, Yele. I come see. Am I saying Wale, 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 Wale? Yele. The guy that took Yele from campus, they took him somewhere, give him serious beatings. Maybe today they chop beatings. That guy. I don't know. I don't know whether it was stone that they were gave him as a bar in his growing up years. I don't know. Maybe today. After giving him beatings for days, they said they weren't going to kill him. Although they would have loved to finish him once and for all, but they won't finish him. They were not going to finish him. But they're going to finish him in a way that he will beg for death. He will not. Even, I don't want to say no, he will be begging Pai to buy him. Pai will run away from him. You understand? That he will beg and beg and beg for it. I will not say. Meanwhile, it will be a painful, gradual buying. You know what that means? They injected Yele with lead poisoning. Only God knows where those guys got that from. Honestly, they injected him, and lead is a biomedical bioterrorism weapon. When it's injected into the bloodstream, the person will start feeling pain. The person will not die. It will be a gradual thing over a long period. Meanwhile, the person will be in serious, excruciating pain for a long time. And then the organs it will start killing off the organs one after the other. The pain will be dragged out. That is the injection they gave Yele. Lead was injected with lead. He didn't know what to do. A change came over him after that. Yele had to. I watched it when he went on NTA. Yele went on NTA before me on that New Dawn, and he explained everything again on how he was, injected with lead, blah blah blah. He said it on that interview. Many people watched that New Dawn way back when before me your dad was doing New Dawn. Remember what I'm talking about? He explained it there again. So shortly after that, I don't know what happened. Somehow, someone told him to go to the U.S. Embassy, for help. So he went to the U.S. Embassy, showed the proofs, gave them all they needed to know and all that. So it was, U.S. now gave him asylum. Yeah. US, based on what the uncompassionate grounds and everything, and after examining all the cases, the evidences they brought forward, they granted him asylum. They flew him out to United States, New York to be precise. So over there, United States gave him serious, urgent, intensive, total medical treatment. They were able to take out the lead poisoning from out of his bloodstream. Yeah. They cleaned his bloodstream and organs and everything of the lead poisoning. It took it took a long time, but we were able to extract that cleaning system from the lead poisoning. Okay. For him to be okay. So after that, gave him a scholarship. Anyway, now so originally Yele wasn't a communicator. He didn't read communications. It was when he got to the United States and he got they gave him a scholarship. He went to Columbia. Yele is actually well read. He went to Columbia. He did a master's in public administration. So that's where the zeal of public service and all that I'm sure came from. So he went to Ivy League education, Columbia University. That's where he got his master's from. His first degree was geography in University of Lagos. After two expulsions for political radicalism. you know, there was a time that even when June 12th came, he went to meet Abiola. He went to his house. They didn't invite him. Yeli just went there. And when he got there, Abiola was about to say, "My name is Yeli." He said, "I know you." Abiola told him, "I know you." For you to know how, and this was not the era of social media. Eh, Social media has made publicity very cheap. It was not the era of nothing. Even the phone we had was landline. Or you go to Nitel office, you buy that card. That card is like our ATM now. Remember that Nitel card that you buy, then you start using it. Based on the amount to buy, you go to the phone booth. You remember we queued to use the phone booth back then. You go to the phone booth, use it, and then come out. That's the other cheaper way you can use a telephone. Otherwise, it's a land phone, Nitel land phone in your house. And Abiola told him, MK Abiola, "I know you. I know you well." Greater than what else he spoke. That was Yele. Fearless. If fearlessness is a person, is Yele Sowore. So after that, he got a master's degree, then from Columbia University in New York, Ivy League school. I know when you have Ivy League education, the sky is your stepping stone, not your limit. The sky is your stepping stone because doors will open onto you. Any work you want to do, it's very easy. You got a degree from Ivy League institutions, Harvard, Columbia, Brown, Princeton, Yale, all those. Man, you're made. Ogun owó nìyẹn ní ẹ ti ṣẹ́ṣù. So from there, Yele became a lecturer. Yeah, Yele lectured. I think City University of New York, CUNY. Yele was a lecturer. Yeah. So it was while lecturing that he founded Sahara Reporters with a grant from Ford Foundation and one other media house like that. I know when he founded Sahara Reporters, that was 2006. Yeah, 2006. When he founded Sahara Reporters. And started he's translated his activism into media reportage. And media reportage that's like very radical, like the way, at least that whenever Nigerian politicians were going to New York to do something, they always look for an excuse to shift the venue from New York because Yele will go there and disrupt the activities of Nigerian delegation. For real. Once Yele hears that Nigerian ministers, Nigerian ambassadors, Nigerian one, he will go there and disrupt the proceedings. Go there with the bull on. Yap them. Yele. Yele. Yap them. Seriously. Talk to them. The kind of it's like Wale Soyinka, Fela, Gani Fawemi rolled into one. In one body. is that they all reincarnated in Yele. For real. He will be all alone. He doesn't care if anybody follows him. Just by himself, he will go with the book on. He will start insulting them. This is what you do, Nigeria. Nigeria is that you are here, sitting down, drinking tea, doing this meeting, doing that meeting. How much your extra code that you brought here? I know with this one now, you have collected extra code or 100 million. This thing. He will start. And those ones, what would they do? They will keep quiet, waiting, praying, wishing for him to just leave and go jejely because this is Yele Sowore. He didn't stop. So that's the backstory of who we all see as Yele Sowore now. And that's the upside. That's Yele I like. Yele I love. Yele the activist. Irrepressible activist. Fearless like a lion. But that's the beginning and the end of Yele I like Yele. Yele knows fully well that there's a time he got down with many of our leaders. For real. Yele, you are looking at, apart from the money he makes from his lecturing and reporters and all that, he knows how many of them he consulted for. The guy you're looking at is a silent billionaire with mansions all over. Yeah. There's someone that ratted him out recently that look at the school his kids were attending. This is the school fees they pay in that school. Where did they get the money from and all that? The guy is a cool, silent billionaire. Not millionaire. Is everybody's a millionaire now. Billionaire. That's Yele. That's what they say. So. His politics is my problem. Because I think Yele should stay being an activist. Yele should stay in activism. It's like Julius Malema now saying he wants to contest presidency of America. South Africa. He will lose his mojo. He will lose his momentum. He will lose his essence. The profundity of his essence will be lost. It's like Wole Soyinka way back in the day, saying that he wants to diluting the whole essence of Wole Soyinka by saying he wanted to contest for a state government, a gubernatorial position, or he wants to become a head of state or become a senator. They'll mess him up. That's where I have issues with Yele. Nigeria, the old guy that keeps saying they are gone. They are gone. And the ones that are around are very old now. Wole Soyinka is basically in his 90s, almost, or in his 90s. That's not the kind of person that can now say, we no go agree with us again. The others are nowhere to be found. Beko, Alawa Kabashorun, Beko, Rasom Kuti, Ganifa Weni, Yinka Odumakin. They are not here anymore. Nigeria needs very incorruptible, altruistic activists now more than ever before. Because a society without such watchdogs will just go to the dogs. We need people that will hold these people, that will always, light fires under them, that will put them to the task, that will put them on their toes. That's where Yele should stay. That's his constituency. That's his natural, innate constituency. Activism to Yele is like breathing. When someone is like, if he doesn't do activism in like 2 days, he will fall sick. That's Yele. It's in his blood. So why are you leaving that calling to go into politics? You should be using that platform to source for good materials, train them. Since you have a master's in public administration, infuse them with the right ideals to go into politics. And even if you now say you want to cross over into politics, okay, partisan politics. Yele, it's been like 10, 12 years now that Yele has been contesting the presidency. Why the presidency? He's no beans. No prior experience. You start with maybe senatorial or House of Reps or maybe gubernatorial level. Get some real life practical experience before gunning to become the president of a nation, a complex nation like Nigeria. Nigeria is, when you talk of the most complex country in the whole world, Nigeria is, that's Nigeria. Nigeria is extremely difficult to govern. So you can't say because you have experience in activism that will make you automatically a good politician, a good politician in office who's able to govern as well. In fact, many activists don't make good politicians. Why not stay there and keep to that? But I think that when I look at it in the final analysis, that is that a game being played here? Is that a game being played here? Because I just mentioned the background of Yeli, and I know America. In America, before it does anything for you, you must do something bad for America. There's nothing goes for nothing. Nothing goes for nothing. They take you from here, take you to America, give you comprehensive medical treatment lasting months, if not up a year, to clean you of something as serious as lead poisoning. Offer you a scholarship to, to an Ivy League institution like Columbia University, and then giving you job opportunities in CUNY to lecture. Come on now, Yeli, something must have given. There is something they must have asked of you in return. There's no free lunch. That is a country I know inside out. It's a nation I know inside out. Apart from studying it, I lived there. America doesn't believe in free lunch. It's the capital of capitalism anyway. Nothing goes for nothing. You get something, you must pay double for it. So when they did that for you, they must have exacted something from Yeli. You know what I'm talking about, guys. The kind of thing that they said, MK Abiola was. The way they describe how MK Abiola was to the United States. That's what I think Yele is now. Okay? Because you guys don't know how intensely mm, powerful, latently powerful Yele is. Nigeria knows, Nigeria intelligence knows. That's why you saw how they went to the court with so much armed personnel. I'm not saying in terms of physical force or violence or anything, no. I'm talking about the powers behind Yele. Yele is not an American citizen, but he's a green card holder, he's a permanent resident. He still owes Nigerian citizenship because he has a goal in mind, which is the presidency. His wife and children are American citizens so that they can get the best out of America. But he refuses American citizenship. Why? It's not because he doesn't love America. He and his family still live in America. Okay? It's not for life. In fact, if they say which nation he loves most in the world, I'm sure he will say United States. Because if not for United States, he would have long been dead. He owes everything to America. His allegiance, naturally, is to America. So what game are you playing when every time You want to go and do your master's in Colombia? It was public administration you chose. For somebody who got his first degree in geography and planning, your master's is a course meant for public officials or politicians. If you don't do political science, you do public administration because that's how you know how to formulate public policies and execute it. You did public administration, okay? And after all the good things, Uncle Sam, Uncle Sam is a nickname for America. So Uncle Sam just pat you on the back, and I know for a fact that this guy is an asset. He's a U.S. intelligence asset. That's the America rules. That's why I always tell people not to do follow. Hey, like what Fabuela said, Mr. Follow. If you follow, make you open sense. If you dey follow, make you open eye. If you follow, make you open sense. Don't do for when you see some people doing activism and doing well, going all out, especially at the level where you are confronting the highest echelons of government. Don't follow anyhow. Hmm. Which backup you get? Which backup you have? Who are the people you are fronting for? Who are those telling you that, oh, go on, we are behind you? Because in everything we do, there's a shadow government. And let me tell you something, in Nigeria, there is no Nigerian president that will become president without the express approval, rubber stamp of UK and US. Quote me on that. Since 1960, there is no Nigerian president that didn't have the approval of UK and US. Not UK, Britain and US. None. In fact, the people you are seeing now ruling Nigeria, they've already planned maybe like 8 years, 12 years in advance. The person that will take over from this present president, the person that will take over from them, they've planned it like 20 years in advance already. That's why when I see some things, I just prefer to like dance. I just do some silly stuff and get off because I know that your people don't know anything. That's not the way the world works. If you know some things, you will not see this world the same. Nothing happens by chance. And I bet you, looking at the way Yele was given that chance, a scholarship to go and do public administration at Columbia, very soon